The purpose of this video is to show you how to set up the online component for all Delgado math classes. This would include online, hybrid, and even face-to-face courses. Every Delgado class uses the MyMathLab system or a similar system to deliver course content. What we're going to do is start at the Delgado web page and show you how to go through this process. If you go to the main page, you'll notice that there's a link for Blackboard. And what you do to get into Blackboard is you use your Lola ID and password. When you type that in, you can then log in and you will see your courses listed, courses for which you are enrolled. Now, to find out what's in store, you simply click on the proper course. In this case, we're going to click on Math 095 class, and you'll see the teacher will have a Start Here menu item on the left. And you'll see in my course that I have three main things. I have the syllabus, I have a link to my math lab which says get some sign up here with the course ID, and also a link that gives you information about what you should know to be in this class. So first I'm going to bring up the syllabus, and the syllabus is the main link between you and this teacher. You have 2 days from the start of the semester in order to decide whether you're going to keep this teacher. If you wanted to switch to another section, it's very important for you to be familiar with their syllabus and what they expect. So always make sure to take a tour through the syllabus and make sure you're going to be able to live up to the responsibilities. I have items such as how the course is graded and what's expected. Those are very important things. I also have information about how to get set up with MyMathLab. But you notice also that there's a link to what you need to know to be in this course. Especially for algebra courses, this is very important because algebra being a skills-based course, you need to be able to do certain procedures in the previous course to be successful. So what we have here is things that you should be able to go through and do, and 10 questions that should be able to be done in 20 minutes with a proficiency of 70%. You'll also notice information about NetTutor, which is something as a Delgado student you have access to. That's of course free of charge, paid for through your tuition fees. Also what I have here is get signed up here as soon as possible, and it has the course ID there and you can copy it, and then if you click on the link it brings you to the MyMathLab website, and there you can click sign in. And this is if you've already had an account, you can click sign in. If you don't, then what you're going to do is you're going to do register as a student. And it's important to not create a new account if you've already had one in the past. This merely breeds confusion, so only register if you've never used MyMathLab before. And this is the process by which you will do it if you've never signed up. You notice that what we've done is pasted in the course ID for the class that you're trying to register for. See that? There's the course ID, teacher's last name, and then 5 digits. So we paste it in, and then we click continue. Now again, it gives you the option to sign in with your present account, and this is if you've had MyMathLab before, and I can't iterate how important that is. You also are notified about what course it is you're signing up for, and you'll see in this case this is a Math 095 class, W01, so you want to check and make sure that that's your teacher and the section. So if you have the right course ID, it'll bring you automatically to the right course. Again, if you already have a MyMathLab account, then it's imperative that you use that same account. The purpose of this video is primarily to initiate those people who've never used MyMathLab. If you're not sure, you can click on not sure if you have an account. And the first thing you need, of course, is an email account. And you'll notice on the right, you can still see the course that you're signing up for. And so if you've already done MyMathLab before, you can jump ahead on this video. Use your username. Username is going to be your email account. So I highly recommend using your Delgado email address. But if you don't, then just make sure and use one that you do check. It's just going to be more professional if you use your Delgado email account. And of course then you're going to have to choose a password, and you've got several criteria: at least 8 characters, at least 1 letter, at least 1 number, and you can't have any part of your name, and no strange characters. And you're going to have to enter it twice just to verify that you have picked the right one. And you put in your name, and then of course a security question, so that if you ever have to get tech support to help you inside of your account, you'll have a question that only you have the knowledge of. And of course you have to accept the license agreement, just like for any software or online tools. The other one is optional, so you may not want to be getting emails. And then when you create an account, then again you can see what course you're enrolled into, and then this is where you're going to enter in your access code. You see there to the far left the access code, and you have a 6-box pattern, each one having a letter series. So now what we have here is the access kit that comes with every textbook where MyMathLab is used. You'll notice there's a seal that has to be broken, so you take that off. And you have to be wary here, because if this is being used, it's not going to be any good for you. And then you tear this open, and then again, if it's not being used, then you'll get the perforation sounds that this is a fresh code. And you notice that those codes are going to be put into the spots that we showed earlier. So what we do is we put in each of those 6 letter combinations, and then when we're done, we're going to click finish, and we'll have a little bit of a wait time. And then it shows you, voila, we're in, you're done, and we're into the course. And you'll notice at the bottom of the course information there's a little button that says go to your course. So you essentially already logged in, and there's the course. This is what you will see when you log into your account, whether it's a new account or whether you're re-signing in at any later time. And in order to get into the course, you click on that button, and then it brings up the course itself. We'll see announcements. And the most important one here for this online course is homework, because this being a purely online course, that you notice that there are videos that are assigned, and this gives you the lecture experience that you feel like you're missing when you're not in a face-to-face course. And you play that, and of course to have this, you're going to have QuickTime plugin installed. And then we have, in addition to videos, we have just plain homeworks. And these homeworks are the problems that you would be assigned like they would be assigned in a traditional class in the back of the section of text. You'll notice on the right you have several tools. One is Help Me Solve This. Help Me Solve This is a step-by-step interactive system that takes you through the problem and asks you intermediate questions in order to help you work through the problem. Of course, once you go through that, then you're given a new problem. You also have Show Me an Example, which does go step by step, but it doesn't change the problem that you're working on. Also, you have access to videos, animations, and this is really one nice thing about having an online text, is because when you click on this button for this problem, it takes you right to the section in the textbook where this problem is discussed. No more table of contents, no more index, and you just scroll through, find your answer, see your examples, and then come back and work on the problem. Now you'll notice here that if you put your cursor in the problem area, you can put in an answer, and when you check, of course, if it's wrong, you're going to get sorry, that's not correct. And you get 2 more chances after this in order to get it right before the problem changes. So this time, let's try and answer it correctly so you can see what happens. When you hit check answer, you'll get an affirmation that this is nice work. And then you can go through all your problems like this until you finish up your homework. Other things are the dashboard. Like I said earlier, this is where you would be able to see announcements, and you can see information about your progress. Anything that your teacher might want to let you know about can be put there in announcements. A study plan is used to help you identify areas of weakness, and this is done by taking quizzes that are built into the course. Also under tests and quizzes are those things which the teacher has assigned to you, the quizzes being mock tests. You'll notice the quizzes are denoted by an orange square box and the tests by a green diamond. The quizzes are essentially mock tests, and they work just like a test. The difference between the quiz and the homework is what you'll see when we open this. You'll notice that when you start to take a test or quiz, it asks you, are you ready? And when you do that, if it's timed, then you'll have to start at that point. Notice that on the right, both tests and quizzes have no helps. So this is very similar to the way you would have in a normal classroom. When you're doing your homework, you can ask questions and look in the back of the book. But with a test or quiz, you have no helps. You're on your own. And you submit the answer, and you don't know whether it's right or wrong. But you do have to be careful, because once you submit it, you're not going to be able to take it back. And you can go through each and every one, and then when you get to the end, you're asked whether you want to submit the test. And when you do that, then you have submitted a test, even if you haven't answered all the questions like I did in this case. So be very careful. The grade book, again, shows you your progress, and it's worth noting that if something hasn't been attempted, it's not going to affect your grade average until the teacher fills in that 0 for something that's incomplete. So perhaps for a midterm or final grade, if you have not done something, then this isn't going to be an accurate representation of your grade. You can also access the many multimedia items by selecting chapter and section, And then there are, of course, PowerPoints and animations. You can get to the textbook. You can see videos by just clicking on those. And again, you have all the tools that you would have in a normal class. Now, there's a document sharing section where if your teacher has put something they want to share with you, like for example, here's a survey, you can download that. And you can also upload here for your teacher to get it. There's a chat section which allows you to have an interactive discussion with students or your teacher. So that's one option. And there's also email. The neat thing about this is it allows you to pick out who you would like to email, including your instructor, without having to know their email address. You can also email any student in the class if you want to. And as with any email, you're going to enter a subject, and then you can type in your message. And then when you send message, you send an email. There's another way to access the ebook through HTML. This is another option. Now let's just say that we wanted to log in to an existing account and add this course. So let's say you've taken the previous course to this, you have a My Math Lab account, and you want to add this course. Well, first thing is you log into your course, and at the top right there's an account button. You click on that, and you're going to have to log in again for security reasons. And you'll notice that this is where your personal information is stored that you can edit. And when you scroll down enough, you'll see the button Enroll in a Course. And if you click on that, then we're back to where we started early on in this video, that you take the course ID and you put it into the course ID box and click, and there you got the course name and your instructor, and you have their email, and then you have three options in which to use. I highly recommend that you use the access code from the textbook purchased from the bookstore. This concludes the video. I wish you a success in your course using this online system.